is such a horrible crime. A clip of Hasan Piker is going viral right now of him shocking his dog Kaya for taking one step off of her mat. Let's take a look.
Are you happy? That's it. Good. There's the AirTag. There's the fucking vibrator. It also has a flashlight component to it at nighttime. And it also has a tracker on it when she gets lost. If she were to actually get fucking lost.
Unfortunately, before I can talk about this, I was hoping that I could bring on an expert, but Chico decided to go into the other room. And you'll notice that I do have the Chico cam here, but the bed is empty because he's currently sitting inside the other room on the couch because he doesn't enjoy the sound of my voice when I'm talking. But I'll have you all know that this is evidence of nothing more than the fact that I don't force him to sit beside me. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. As all of you probably know, we're talking about a very important topic, and I've decided today I had to bring an expert, and that's why we got little Chico here. Yeah, because I happen to be graced with the presence of one of my besties. He's sitting right beside me, and so I brought out the Chico cam because I think only Chico is going to be able to get to the bottom of today's incredibly serious and important story. Yes, we're talking about Kayagate and the internet, I think, losing their collective mind. All right. Unlike maybe other streamers on the internet, I allow him to sleep on the couch if he wants to, because he's cozier there. There's nothing that prevents him from leaving his spot, and he can return at any time if he wants to. And the reason I bring this all up is because it's important. Right now, there is a surge of dog experts, dog owners on the internet. Yeah, people who, you know how there's things like armchair lawyers. That's something that I do a lot because I actually am not a lawyer. I can't offer anyone actual legal expertise in any capacity, so I speculate wildly on the internet. I don't think that's right. Same thing with armchair athletes, of which I'm not. I'm neither an athlete nor an armchair athlete, but there's a lot of them, you know, the people who will just be able to tell you so much about, you know, NFL draft picks, MVPs, all the predictions for the year, but they don't actually play any sports. But man, do they ever know a lot about watching sports. They become experts on the topic. And this time, I got to see how many people on the internet are actually dog experts. Yeah, you just an outpouring of people immediately being like, excuse me, as a dog owner, okay? I know personally what I have seen here, and it is horrifying. It has shocked me to my core. That man is torturing that dog. This so-called Hasanabi, a socialist, or so he says. Yeah, what socialist do you know owns a home, let alone a big one? A mansion? Disgusting. A car? Also disgusting. He doesn't live by his beliefs. Did you not know that socialism is about living in abject poverty? Okay? He should be dressed in nothing more than a garbage bag every day. And I want to see him using a power cord as a belt. At best. And you know, that's basically what I've been taught to believe. Isn't that what socialism's all about or something like that? Either way, this is the latest scandal. And it's brought to you here by Ethan Klein, known friend of Hasanabi. He posted this on TikTok, actually.
That need us depend on us, and abusing that trust is such a horrible crime. A clip of Hasan Piker is going viral right now of him shocking his dog Kaya for taking one step off of her mat. Let's take a look.
Such a first world problem, but it is emblematic of all of America's much more consequential violence. Okay, it's the same.
What is going on? Is he trying to do the green screen while also doing the Can one of the like 20 staff members that Ethan Klein has teach him how to TikTok? Come on, I look, as a fellow millennial, I get it. All right, we do the millennial pause. We're not as sophisticated with this technology. We just didn't grow up with it. Okay, when I was a lad, I had these things called video cameras, and there was a delay. When you push the button, it would take a couple seconds, sometimes even 2, before it would start recording, and we were trained on that. That's why millennials have the millennial pause. All right, there's an actual technological explanation for it. But with y'all, you Zoomers, you got this like cell phone, and you push the button, and it's recording instantaneously. And so that's why millennials will go on these things and they'll push the button, then they'll be like, okay, so yo, I got this crazy story I got to tell you all about. You'll never believe the thing that I just saw. It's so nuts, and it's embarrassing, but it's because we didn't grow up with the tech, but we're learning. All right, we can learn how to do these things. Here, I'll help them out. I'll show you the original clip that appeared on Livestream Fail with 64,000 upvotes. But I gotta say, There's something that Libs of TikTok, HireRightCheck, and other accounts do, which is their own form of editorializing. Now, I know for a long time HireRightCheck would also put out this idea that she, in fact, is not doing anything other than uploading clips and then just letting the clips speak for themselves. I used to hear that from Joe Rogan all the time, too. It would be like, look, the cool thing about Libs of TikTok is that all they do is show you libs, and then you can see for yourself, right? I mean, it just if you don't like it, then maybe you shouldn't keep acting that way. It's like, but that's not all she did, is it? She would add at the very top of the clip, this person is a pedophile. This person is grooming children. Here is a teacher grooming their students, or should I say his students, things like that. And then you watch the clip and then it's just like, to me, incredibly benign, obviously, and nothing about it is shocking. It'll be a teacher being like, hey, some of you are he, him, some of you are she, her, some of you might be they, them, and that's totally fine and normal. And then you're like, wait, sorry, this was supposed to be child abuse. This was supposed to be the clip of grooming. But I guess for some conservatives, when you've got that preset narrative in your head, you read the headline and then it says, this teacher is grooming students. And then you connect the dots and then you're like, wait, grooming students thing, oh my God. And in this case, this viral sensation clip, Hasan reaching for something and seemingly shocking his dog to keep the camera in view. So I'll rewind it. Got to be completely 100% transparent here, okay? Much like XQC, we're going to have to go frame by frame to find out what happened.
But it is emblematic of all of America's much more consequential violence. Okay? It's the same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just fucking go, just stop.
Pretty damning stuff, I gotta say. And first off, let's get this stuff out of the way. As a dog owner, I know that one actually doesn't have as much gravity considering Chico left for the segment. Good timing, Chico. I kind of feel like as my dog happens to be a ghost, you know, not in the scene right now. Thanks for leaving the room. But that just goes to show that I'm completely fine with Chico leaving Chico's space. Okay, he's free to go onto the couch if he wants, and he can return if he needs to, and I'll love him either way. Okay, but sorry, as a dog owner, just so everyone understands, I'm very against shock collars. Just in general, I think the whole practice is barbaric, and I think the idea of using a shock collar for people who have dogs outside in order to do negative reinforcement, like, to me, it just seems cruel. Always has, and all the studies that I've ever seen show that, like, positive reinforcement, aka rewarding dogs for good behavior, giving them a little treat when they do something good, actually trains them way faster because they're very food driven, food motivated, I think is the term. And you know, now having grown up with Chico for about 5 years, having to work with him constantly, I will say that, like, obviously having an adopted dog, which I do, is more difficult than having a dog, since they're a puppy, where you can really, you know, set a lot of stuff in terms of their training and stuff like that. But I absolutely adore and love dogs deeply, and honestly, I understand why anyone who sees this clip in the context of which it is shown is going to be like, what the fuck? And I'll also add, if you're someone who's using a dog shock collar at home for no reason, like absolutely no reason outside of just like that's just how you want to keep your dog in order, that's scumfuck behavior, to be totally honest with you. And that's just me saying this in general for anyone who uses shock collars in their house for a dog. That'd be really fucked up. What's the evidence here? I'm not saying this is like, oh, of course, fucking, I knew it. The lefty socialists, the serfs is going to fucking defend dog abuse. No, what's the evidence that he has a shock collar and he just applied it? You have to infer. Yeah. Did you see? Okay, rewind. Go back into the left. When he's here, he clearly reaches for something. This is what he's going like that. So he's probably, most likely, look, fair enough, I am having to do this on my own, but you can, come on, you're not stupid. You get it. He has a button there. There's the electrocute button, all right? Different streamers have different buttons. You have buttons, Lance. You know, you use them all the time for sound effects, right? Look.
When it comes to this serious business of sex, it's the testosterone-laden man.
I'm not even, the king monkey.
Smoke weed. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap.
Yeah, so I do, but I don't have an electrocute animals button. So maybe he does. I didn't know that. I didn't know that he keeps, the shock collar electrocution activator right there beside him at all times, which, again, for a man who also has been streaming 8 hours a day, every single day for, 364 days a year, the fact that this is the first time that he's decided to use it publicly, what a fool. What a fool. And now the eyes of the world have seen the horrors and the reality of this horrifying animal abuser who decides to shock his dog to make sure that it stays in place so his vanity can be fulfilled, which is the narrative that is being sold to everyone here, right? Going back to, I guess, Ethan Klein.
Reason as to why America, Kaya, please just fucking go, just stop. Jesus Christ, what are you doing? You're being such a baby.
I always found it bizarre how Kaya, who's this young, energetic puppy, stayed in 1 square foot of Hasan's room, right in sight of camera, almost like just a prop in his room. Well, now we know why. He's using extreme austerity measures to shock and abuse his animal and then blaming her, getting mad at her for him hurting her. There's further evidence from a recent broadcast.
And now it's mainstream. I love her. I think her collar's too tight.
It's here we can.
You have to be able to get 2 fingers, and I couldn't even get 1. I think you're choking her.
She's like,
Wait, sorry. The second damning clip here is one in which he's like, oh, okay. And then immediately starts to show compassion for his animal. That's not even as bad as this one. I don't know if you've seen this one. This one is all over. Hasan admitting he owns a shock collar. This one is like irrefutable, okay? You cads.
My old roommate wanted to use a shock collar for fish and his dogs. For fish and his dogs barking. I couldn't do it. I have it still. I bought it.
Where was that last part?
Barking. I couldn't do it. I have.
So, did anyone watch these, or is it just it's enough just upload them, put them on the internet? Here it is, damning. He admits that he owns one, but then says he can never use it. But he still had one, so there's that.
it's she has a lot of neck meat.
This woman on Hasan's stream was concerned enough that, she had to say something live. I'm sure that was the last thing she wanted to do, was humiliate him on his own stream. But she was that worried. She couldn't even fit a single finger under her collar. And you get the sense that he was about to say, it's a shock collar. He says, it's a ... and then he doesn't finish the sentence. As I'm sure Hasan will try to deny using a shock collar, here's a clip of him admitting he owns one.
Oh, wow, you already included that.
My old roommate wanted to use a shock collar for fish and his dogs. For fish and his dogs barking. I couldn't do it. I have it still. I bought.
I mean, glad you didn't edit that part out. At least it's as charitable as I can make this. And then I noticed this appeared on Forbes magazine. Yeah. Oh my God, Forbes. Hasan Piker's dog shock collar controversy explained. Twitch streamer Hasan Piker, aka Hasanabi, the dog torturer, has denied accusations of using a shock collar on his dog Kaya after she yelped during a live stream. Who is Hasan Piker? He's also known as Hasanabi, a popular Twitch streamer who covers politics, video games, and general pop culture from a leftist perspective. Piker first appeared as a host on The Young Turks before moving on to Twitch and streaming full-time. His channel is currently a 22nd most subscribed channel, 22nd most subscribed, wow, on the streaming platform, and Piker has recently appeared on The New York Times to discuss his political commentary. In the wake of Piker's extremely long feud with his fellow content creator Ethan Klein, the host of the H3 podcast, backlash and controversy surrounding Piker's streams has become common, as fandoms of the two personalities often clash in the comments. Piker's dog Kaya became the subject of the latest controversy after she yelped during a live stream, with some claiming that Kaya was reacting to his shock collar. I even saw that internet sleuth detective, and unfortunately not 9,000 IQ, only 6,000 IQ, streamer XQC, decided to go frame by frame and using his superior intellect, not as superior as mine, like obviously, mine.
It's over 9,000!
But his is still pretty impressive. And so he was using his to go frame by frame and to show everybody that apparently this collar is indisputably an electrical, like it'll shock you. It's an electrified shock collar designed to, again, produce an electrical pulse. This has been proven by the frame. He found a single frame where there's like a light that goes off on it and it turned green at one point, which is indisputably the elements of a shock collar. And so unfortunately, that is irrefutable too. I don't think there's any walking back from Detective XQC on the case. We got a whole bunch of people, drama alert, posted about it. You can literally see the shock collar. Not surprised, Hasan's fan base is making excuses for this too, just like they do for everything else he says and does. Disgusting, you Hasan knobheads. How can you make excuses for this? Have you seen it? There it is right there, as clear as day. Doesn't use a shock collar, by the way, but the brigade has begun. Well, I mean, I think it's... Well, here's images of the button. Look at that. What's this? Nuke Israel, shock dog, side by side. I mean, this is pretty damning. Following the backlash, Piker denied the accusations of using a shock collar. Sarcastically, he said, yes, I'm incredibly abusive to not only my best trained, but also the best behaved and most spoiled dog on the planet. Piker explained that Kaya's yelp was caused by an accident rather than a shock collar. She yelped because she clipped herself on something when she was getting off the bed. Ah, interesting. The plot thickens. Well, don't worry. This was posted on, I will add, Hasan's own subreddit, so, dubious source here, a little biased. Here's Hasanabi, holding Kaya, and then displaying the collar for all the world to see on a completely separate stream. Which also, when this was all going down, jokes aside, kind of struck me as odd. I was like, okay, so what are we doing here? So he's had Kaya with this collar on the stream before. He's held it up. Was he just, like, showing the world just how cruel he could be? Was it just like, oh yeah, so in this instance, he's basically holding his dog and being like, behold, look, has you not seen? Yeah, has anyone asked Kaya? That is true. I mean, to get to the bottom of this, man, Kaya's huge. But again, showing off this disgusting device. Then the internet started running wild with what exactly could this be? Was it a shock collar or was it an AirPod collar? Right? There was other people saying that it's an AirTag collar, similar to ones that you can find here. Another one here. The AirTag collars are essentially to be able to track your dog wherever they go.
This is the one that people are talking about. Okay, this is the one. This is the one that they saw. It has the capacity to vibrate, and that's it. Are you happy? That's it. Good. There's the AirTag. There's the fucking vibrator. It also has a flashlight component to it at nighttime, and it also has a tracker on it when she gets lost. If she were to actually get fucking lost.
We have another person who said, I had the same question, but I looked at the clip in slow motion, okay, and it looks like Kaya got her claw stuck in the canvas of the bed. Let us know. Go through this.
Kaya, please just fucking go. Just stop.
Could be. Inconclusive still, though, in both directions. We don't have any conclusive evidence, really. I mean, it could have been, what we're seeing, but it could have been also that he had, again, timed the shock at the same time. We're not entirely sure. We still have no evidence as to what lies beyond the desk, because, again, I tried using AI to enhance, and unfortunately, it turns out that technology is complete shit and rubbish and useless, so I didn't get anything from there. I could keep trying. I don't know if I had the wrong prompt. You just got to keep on putting the prompts in the machine and then telling it to do things, hoping that eventually it's going to push something out, computer enhance, and then, maybe give me a 360-degree view, spin around, show me, zoom in. He could have a button there. I don't know. I mean, has he spoken on whether or not behind his desk is a button? I guess if we were to speculate wildly, a couple other things would be, and one of the first things would be, has people been to his home before? Answer is yes. Have they noticed that he's got a giant Nuke Israel / electrocute my dog panel in front of him? I haven't heard about that yet. We could speak to Vivian, or we could speak to some of the other people who have been guests recently. They could, you know, bring it up.
One of the things that she knows is she's like professionally trained. And I think while she was like getting up and down from the bed, I don't know exactly what happened, but I suspect that she tweaked her do nail, like the upper nail that's like on the side of the bed. People speculated that I was actually shocking her, or dew claw. People were like, "Oh, you're fucking shocking her." Then I suspect that a bunch of people who have never trained a dog, never had a dog that required training, being completely idiotic. Yeah, I mean, it is basically a perfect shitstorm, because obviously I have a lot of haters. Obviously, a lot of people love dogs, myself included. The clip looks fucking horrible, and people were like speculating because I was like moving around, and they're like, "Oh, he was like hitting a button on his desk." It is what it is. They say you never take her outside too. I know. The worst part about it is that a lot of people, the most insane part about it is that a lot of people were just like automatically under the assumption that I've been like abusing my dog, that I love more than most human beings. You know? Dogs hurt themselves sometimes. It literally looks like she got caught and it hurt.
The big red shock button on the desk. I don't know. I honestly, last night I was like, I'm interested to see how far this goes, because I saw, like, you know, every possible account you could think of. Tectone dropped the F slur. This disgusting F slur. I was like, okay, Tectone. Calm down, buddy. But yeah, every big account you can think of, all the slop tubers, drama tubers, obviously Destiny, all these people just fucking endless posting memes. Destiny, I think, posted a picture of "Judge Me by My Enemies," and then it was Kaya. You know, there was a whole bunch of people on Reddit losing their minds, and it's one of those things where I was just like, wait. Everyone now is just overnight, especially, you know, people who hate him, but a lot of people who might just be like, you know, oh, I'm not a Hasan fan one way or the other, but this clip speaks for itself. They're just like, he shocked his dog. And then I was like, all right, dude, what's the proof? Well, clearly the dog yelps. Yes, that does happen. I agree. That's sad. And why? But what evidence do we have that he electrocuted his dog at that moment? Look at the video. Do you see him go like that? That's him pushing the button, the electrocute the dog button. Sorry, what? For the first time? Why? He has a button or a device or controller on his desk, and then he just happened to fuck up this one time where he's like, oh shit, you weren't supposed to see that. None of you were supposed to see that. Forget this. All right. Yeah. No. I don't have a button. You know, if I had put forward, what about if you know, the dog's dew claw had gotten caught in the padding, and like that happens to dogs, you have to clip their dew claws regularly. And I'll tell you, like, it can be, if you never owned a dog before, a shocking experience, because dogs are very sensitive about their nails. They don't like to have their paws lifted in the opposite direction, so you have to hold their paws very specifically when you're clipping their nails. And even with the like outrageous amount of treats and positive reinforcement that, you know, we give Chico sometimes to make him comfortable during that process, he is such like an emotional creature about the entire process. You have to be really careful when you're clipping a dog's dew claw, because if you clip a dog's dew claw too much, you can actually make them bleed. So you have to set your dew claw clippers to a very specific amount. The first time you clip a dog's claws, they're probably going to yelp, and it's a jarring thing. It's very scary to hear your dog scream at you, right? So when you do it, you haven't even drawn blood, you haven't done anything bad, but it'll just be like, "Roar!" And you're just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, oh my god, what did I do? And it's because they're not comfortable with this experience, and it takes them a very, very long time to get comfortable with that experience, but that is just something you go through as a dog owner, and eventually, you know, like, they start to become much better at it, hopefully with time. Some dogs never do. Same thing with dogs in cars. Some dogs get motion sickness all the time. They vomit whenever they're taken in a car. You want to go camping with your dog, they get a lot of motion sickness, they vomit. You have to be accommodating for that kind of stuff, because the dog is not choosing or opting to go on this camping trip with you. So it may take you a lot more time to get there, but but you got to pull over on the side of the road. You got to let him out. You got to let him, walk a little bit. You got to let him calm down, help him, stuff like that. Because again, the experience can be really jarring. This is just something you start to learn as you own a dog. Chico used to get the worst motion sickness possible in vehicles for the first year and a half that we had him. And then it stopped. It just completely stopped. He doesn't get motion sickness at all anymore. It's a wonderful and beautiful thing. But I have friends who have a purebred golden retriever that they ended up buying, and that dog has never stopped getting motion sickness in cars. It always gets sick in cars and vomits everywhere they go. And they've taken him to vets. They've asked what to do about this. How can they help? And it turns out that's some dogs. Some dogs, it's just unfortunate, but they get forms of not vertigo, but the way the eardrums balance themselves out and all that kind of stuff. But they have to accommodate for it. If they're taking him somewhere, sometimes they have to get a medication to help him to help his anxiety, and then they got to stop frequently to make sure that he can get out of the car so he doesn't vomit and things like that. But again, it's one of those things where if you're a dog owner, I understand that some people were just jumping to oh my god, that's it's as clear as day to me. I mean, you can see it, right? The hand goes like that, the dog yelps. Clearly Hasan was obsessed with electrocuting his own animal. There are people who are very bad dog owners and they don't train their dogs, and that's really bad too, because I'm sorry, but dogs are animals and they can behave very improperly, especially when they're outside, and they can attack other dogs, they can attack people. That's not good, all right? And it's not the dog being evil or inherently bad. That's because dogs have emotions, they're complex, they have feelings like people do as well. They're basically as intelligent as a 3-year-old human. And what they do is that when you have a dog on a leash, they're only course of action, if they're scared, if they're anxious, or if they're worried or stressed, is to attack and bark. Those are the two things that they know that they can do. They don't have a tool set. They can't have an eloquent conversation or debate someone about their ideas in the middle of the road. So if they're scared and worried and they're on a leash and they're feeling tense about something, they might start barking really loud, or they might actually try to attack something and start jumping at it if they're not well trained and they're not normalized to this kind of behavior, and you don't bring them out frequently and you don't socialize them frequently. These are things that can happen. So it's equally as shit to not train your dogs and to not socialize your dogs and to not spend, because it's hard. And I get it. It's a lot of work to take your dog out for hours every single day, to have them socialize with other dogs. And even then, there are dogs, because just like humans, they're not a monolith. There are dogs that are going to have a host of problems that you cannot iron out and you can't help them with, even with medication, even with concentrating. There are certain dogs that I used to hate the sight of a dog that has one of those little mouth muzzles on it outside. Not the full-blown cage ones. Those ones feel kind of like medieval torture shit, but I'm just talking about the ones that keep their mouths from biting, right? And in certain cases, there are dogs that no matter how much training you do, no matter how much work you do on them, no matter how much whatever, they're going to be a danger to themselves and others in public spaces. And so to accommodate for that, because they still deserve to be walked and to be taken outside, and take them hopefully to an area where they can just run around like a forest and you can actually take the muzzle off and all that kind of stuff. But they don't also want to have those dogs hurt other dogs or people. And the problem with that is that in certain areas, your dog can get put down. If your dog is it's not on a leash, it runs off and it bites a kid, or it's not on a leash, it runs off and it bites a person. All of a sudden, you might have some person who's like, oh my God, I just got viciously attacked. That dog fucking, bit me, whatever the fuck. And then it's on you as the dog owner. Why were you letting that dog on without a leash? Why were you letting that dog, knowing that it's going to go and potentially attack someone, do that, right? And then people will be like, well, who's to blame here? Is it the dog? Was the dog evil? Is it the person? Was the person evil? All that kind of stuff. It's one of those aspects, I think, that most people don't realize with dogs, is that yes, you do have to train them, but the reason I've never liked shock collars is because the science isn't there for them. The science, first off, I know the defenders of shock collars will be like, well, with a shock collar, it's a very small amount of an electrical pulse. Dogs have a thick hide and usually a lot of fur, so it's not like a human being getting cattle prodded or anything like that. And there are some dogs who just simply cannot respond to proper training in other ways. Positive reinforcement doesn't work, so you got to use this kind of device. But I've always just been like, the science is pretty clear. Positive reinforcement works better, aka dogs are very food motivated. When they do something good and you want them to repeat good behavior, treat them, give them a reward. That's I found that works really well for Chico in certain situations, especially his nervousness around other dogs, because again, he's always had a problem with that. That's always been an issue, in large part due to the fact that he has insecurities from having been moved and abandoned as a child. He was adopted and then he got sent from Mexico to Canada, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, he's got some stuff that he's he's working through there, and like, you know, I respect it, and I understand that it makes it more challenging than if I'd just gotten some purebred puppy from, you know, I don't know, one of those factory farms that breeds dogs and all that kind of shit. But I love them all the same, and so you got to accommodate sometimes. Hey, by the way, I'm about to cross the street, and there's a dog that I know that he hates on the other side, right? And it's going to be like a German Shepherd or something, and there's nothing I can do. I can give him a full-blown steak that I keep in my pocket, like, you know, my dog steak, and I can be like, hey, buddy, this is more important. But he's just going to get scared because that particular breed of dog frightens him. Just the look of them, I don't know what it is, but German Shepherds just really scare the fuck out of him. So I'll cross the street first. I'll go in a different direction. It's not as convenient, but I know I got to do this thing because it's going to make it a little bit better for him. And the same thing I think could be applied to people who use shock collars outdoors. I don't think there's any excuse for using them inside, right? I think if you're just using a shock collar inside because you're kind of lazy and it's just easy and you're just like zap, 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 stop doing that zap. That just seems like fucking, I don't know, scumfuck behavior to me. Either way, all that being said, there is no evidence that he electrocuted his dog outside of the wild speculation of the internet. I mean, you can choose to believe he's lying to all of you. He's actually lying about the dew claw getting stuck, or if you think you saw the dew claw getting stuck in that particular clip, then you blah, blah, blah. He is lying. He lies to us. I can't believe this fucking piece of shit. Okay, fine. But in the opposite direction, what evidence do you have that he has an electrocution button sitting there at the panel of his desk right now, and that he uses it all the time, by the way? But this is the one time when apparently it was on camera, or it was too powerful. He set the setting too high, or something like that. Electrocuted his dog, and now he's been caught. And now, fuck him. You like, again, the internet has this thing where if a video is being played in front of you and you've already got the narrative set up by the line at the top, Hasanabi appears to electrocute his dog, and then you hit play on the clip, and then you've got your confirmation bias already preset. You're already ready to look for a clip in which you're about to see this piece of shit electrocute his animal, this rich motherfucker, you know, this socialist scumbag. He can't even spend 2 seconds of camera time without his dog on screen. And then I saw that theory too, and I was like, there's an endless amount of clips in the opposite direction where Kaya's not in the shots. What are we doing here? What is this conspiracy? Is there a genuine like narrative that he has been spending all of his time with his dog, specifically positioned there because if the dog's not there, he doesn't get as many super chats or some other shit like that, not as many Twitch subs or gifted subs or donos, so he knows you cannot leave the square. Never leave the square. Every time he gets up, she leaves the square and follows him because they love each other. There are times that I'm like, how is this real?
And a lot of people are like losing their minds over it.
Well, the other thing is, by the way, if you're gonna cancel Hasan, do it for a take that you disagree with or something, instead of these like random shit. Like, if you're like, I happen to be, you know, a Zionist, and I think that anyone who doesn't support the Israeli project is wrong. Okay, boom, you have hundreds and hundreds of hours of stuff you can cancel him over. If he has a take because the man talks for 8 hours a day, there's most likely going to be shit that no matter what, even if we're like supposedly both leftists, I'm going to disagree with, right? That's just going to happen. By virtue of having another dude who talks into a microphone, you're probably going to be like, yeah, that take, I got to be honest, it's shit. I don't agree with him, right? Do I feel that this warrants, you know, him being deplatformed? No. But, you know, there it is. She's literally on screen half the stream because she's hanging out with his mom. I know. I mean, I saw all these things. I saw other people being like, I didn't know until I saw that clip that Hasan literally forces his dog to stay on this small square so he can get more subs. And I was like, the dude has been a like 20 to 40,000 live view streamer for years prior to even adopting Kaya. What are we doing here? Like, again, I just, the mass psychosis that the internet runs with.
It is what it is.
But someone's like, remember when you ran over your dog with your chair?
My God. Ducky, he was under your chair.
Oh. What the fuck? Okay, that's not great. The other one, this is Gila Klein posting this. What is this?
First off, thank you so much to our patrons for making this show possible. We could not fund it without you. And if you want to join, please check out patreon.com/theserfs to unlock bonus episodes, uncensored content, and all the good stuff. Thanks to Anna Loves Riley, Addercap, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hegbard Salim, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet One 85, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demmel, Tigwick, and Words Greenwood.